Welcome back to It Ain't Rocket Science. I'm Adam Balkin. Bioaccumulation sounds like a pretty heavy-duty science term, but it's really just the food chain. But it's how some high school students in North Carolina grasped that concept that might have you scratching your head. Our Lisa Saski jumped in with them.
This may not look like your typical upper-level high school science class, but it is just that.
I was representing a big fish on the upper level of the food web, and I was eating the remains of the toxins of smaller fish.
These students are not only learning about how pollution and toxins work their way up the food chain, but they're hunting and feeding to watch it all play out. A.L. Brown's STEM, or Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Academy, offers dozens of courses to students. But for this environmental science class, teacher Nikki Perry had to think outside of the box to find projects that incorporate STEM.
It really does lend itself to STEM because we have to use math, we have to use the technology they're trying to engineer to problem solve environmental issues.
Perry says all of her lessons are problem-based, and it's up to the students to find solutions through hands-on activities. For Max Chandler, it sparks interest among students, unlike the usual classroom setting.
And it can motivate someone that had never had an interest in science to want to go to college and somewhere they can study this.
We also had the opportunity to work with a lot of technology and computers. That's also something you don't get in regular classes. People sort of miss out on that.
Perry is determined to not let her students miss out on anything, and she says watching her lessons soak in is the best part.
And it's different than their other classes. They feel like they're actually doing science instead of just doing something that, oh, okay, that makes sense. They're actually doing something that matters.
For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Lisa Saski.
And these students aren't alone in their exploration into the life sciences. Visitors at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences are getting a unique view into the world of veterinary medicine, one that's up close and personal. Our Sharon Stone has a story.
Tia, can you grab me a pair of just thumb forceps?
Faith Daniel is glued to this glass.
I think it's amazing.
It's an opening into a world she dreams about.
I think it's really cool to work with sea animals, and I think that they're amazing because it's like you're not living on land, and some of them are mammals, so you do need air, but some of them aren't.
Okay, I haven't seen much movement.
This space is a medical hub for veterinarians at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. Today, they're working on flyers, it's a kind of fish. On the other side, museum visitors crowd the window on animal health, a unique view of the vet's work.
My favorite part of doing this every day, we've been doing this since April, is seeing the eyes. I always tell people, everybody, they kind of forget where they are. Usually their eyes are wide open, their mouths are open, and they're like plastered to the glass.
It's easy to see how excited the kids here are about this exhibit, but the adults share that passion for science too.
I get excited working with it because I get exposed to new stuff every day.
And the exposure that comes with being part of this exhibit is helping Tia Simon at school. The NC State sophomore is training to be a veterinarian.
I think it's helped me be able to communicate with people that aren't familiar with veterinary terminology and stuff. It's helped me communicate with them.
The medical team turns the microphones and cameras on for a couple hours each weekday for people to participate.
We hope that we've sort of demystified veterinary medicine and opened it up to people that might not have an opportunity otherwise to be a part of it. And we hope that they walk away with lots of questions that they'll try to answer, both in veterinary medicine and in science in general.
But for visitors like Faith, it's hard to walk away.
It's pretty cool that you get to see them operate on animals and see what they do with different animals and fish.
A 10-year-old with a passion for marine biology, gazing through a window, getting a glimpse into the future of her dreams. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Sharon Stone.
And while animal visits to a veterinarian might be few and far between, it's much more likely that in a confined condition, we'll spend much more time with animal caretakers. And at zoos across the country, caretakers spend their days feeding, cleaning, and helping to conduct research on some of the most exotic animals in the world. Our Bree Driscoll checked out a day in the life of a zookeeper at the San Diego Zoo.
It's not your typical morning by any means, but Kathy Hawk does it every day. Kathy is a zookeeper in the giant panda exhibit at the San Diego Zoo.
So on a typical morning when we first come in as a keeper, we definitely check on our animals, make sure nobody's sick or injured, and then we go into action.
The pandas require cleaning and feeding multiple times a day, but she says it's not as simple as that.
The trick is finding the right kind of pieces of bamboo that the pandas like. Sometimes they'll like one piece one week, and sometimes they'll like another piece another week. So it's constant daily challenge trying to bundle that right kind of bamboo that we know that they'll eat.
The San Diego Zoo's Giant Panda Research Center has played a key part in giant panda conservation. Kathy and other keepers play a crucial role in the research done at the zoo.
We're assisting the researchers in gathering important data for their science papers. We're also assisting the veterinarians when we have to do any sort of medical procedures on the animals. So we are playing a role in this as well, beyond regular feeding and cleaning, which most people think that we do.
Kathy fell in love with animals at a young age and wanted to be a zookeeper since she was a student and came to the San Diego Zoo.
And one day I came to the San Diego Zoo just to visit, and I just saw the keepers at work and seeing what they were doing, and was able to talk to a few of them, and I thought, wait a minute, this is where I want to be. And I just fell in love with the world of exotic animals.
She says being a woman in the field is also a point of pride for her, and she has advice for young girls looking to get into STEM careers.
Well, I'm one of the veteran keepers now. When I first started in the zookeeping field here, it was pretty much dominated by men. If you have a certain sight on a certain goal, whether it's male-oriented or not, I don't think you should ever let that discourage you, because I think as a woman, you have great things to contribute to in the world of science.
And Kathy plans on continuing to move forward and help in the conservation of giant pandas. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Bree Driscoll.
Coming up, see how some aspiring game developers are getting their start, and meet Apple's youngest programmer. We'll talk to the 13-year-old who turned his love for coding into a thriving business. For more information about science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities in your community, visit connectamillionminds.com during the break.